Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to show you how to move the rook, and this is a great video for beginners to start learning the movements of chess pieces. So let's get started. First of all, there are two main websites for chess, chess.com and Leeches. Leeches is a completely free website, but chess.com has more features, but has more paid features as well. So for this example, I'm going to use chess.com. You could either type it manually like this, chess.com, or just type chess and click on the first URL you see, or you could just go to Leeches. So this is going to be an examples focused studying pattern. So first of all, you after you log in, you will see on the left side that there are many tabs such as play, puzzles, learn, watch, news, etc, etc. So we will go to the learn tab and then go to the right, and then we'll click on analysis. Okay, so after that we'll go to setup position. So now you can see that you'll be able to remove pieces from the board and a lot of other stuff too. So even though this is a video about learning how to move the rook, I haven't explained how it moves. So the rook moves in a straight line, so it can move both vertically and horizontally. This example that I'm going to show is going to help you guys understand very clearly on how the rook moves. So imagine a situation like this. Okay, the evaluation bar on the left shows if you are winning, losing, or if it's a drawn position. Currently it's completely white and is showing mate in level. M stands for mate, which is short form for checkmate. So yeah, so I said that the rook moves in straight lines, both vertically and horizontally. There are some limitations to this which I'll be addressing in a few minutes or few seconds, probably minutes. So these are the squares that it can occupy. Okay, as you can see, these are the squares that it can occupy if it moves. Okay, so and even for beginners, there's an easy way to spot if it's a square that the rook can move to. Just click on the rook, okay, and you'll see a small gray circle, not quite small, but a gray circle in the middle of each tile that the rook can move to. So after you select the rook, just click on the tile that you want to move to. So the rook goes there. Wait, it's not in loaded position yet. Okay, so now, okay, so the rook. So if you want to move it, just click on the spot where you want to go. For example, d3. Okay, so that's how the rook moves. So we saw that it moves in a straight line. Now we're going to check how it captures. So for this example, we are going to be moving around the king and the rook, and there are going to be extra pieces from black side. So king is going to be on b6. There's going to be a pawn on the squares are pretty hard to understand unless you're like an intermediate, so I'm not going to bother you with that right now. Okay, if it's white and if it's showing black to move, just set it back to white to move. Okay, so in this position it's basically a draw. Okay, if we play it properly. So in this position I'm going to show you how the rook captures. There are some pieces in chess that don't capture in the way that they move. Examples for this are the pawn. the pawn might be the only piece that does that. Yeah. So we know that the rook moves in a straight line, right? But there are certain limitations for the rook. That one of them being that if there's a piece blocking one of the squares that the rook can go to, it can't go to the square behind the piece. So in this case, the queen on g5 is blocking h5, bishop on e6 is blocking e7 and e8, and the b5 pawn is blocking a5. So if we click on the rook, we can see that that is the case. The rook can't go to the squares beyond the pieces that it's attacking. So next we'll have a similar position where basically everything is the same other than the orientation of the bishop. So as we can see, we can't attack the bishop even though it's right in a straight line. So this is just an example for that. So now uh, now if we had our own pawn in front, okay, if we had our own pawn in front of us, we still can't jump over it. There is one piece in chess that can jump over enemy and friendly pieces, which is the knight. So as you can see, even though I try to take the bishop, I can't. Okay. So next is a special move called castling. So for this, we will have to reset the board and remove all pieces except a few pawns and the rooks. Okay. So hope you guys are enjoying the video, and if there's any problems that you found in this video, it would be nice if it was put into the comments. So after we load into this position, we'll see that even though, okay, we haven't learned the movements of the king, but I'm sure some of you have. The king usually moves in one space at a time. Doesn't matter if the king is here. If the king is here, it moves to these 8 squares surrounding it. Okay, so the king is a really basic piece to understand, but it's a bit more complex when we get into checks and stuff. And stuff like castling is also pretty intermediate stuff. So when we are castling, the king moves 2 steps to the left or right depending on which side you castle to. Okay, it moves 2 steps to the left or right, and then the rook goes to sort of the center. So I'll give you an example. As you can see, the square c1 lights up even though the king can usually only travel one space at a time, and the rook moves to the center. Okay, it's the same pattern with the rook on h1. We can go to g1 and rook moves to f1, which is sort of moving to the center but not as much as the rook on a1. So usually this move is for defense and this move is for offense. Okay, opposite side castling is super aggressive. uh, you could probably play something like this and that would be the best move. So, and people who castle on the same side are playing for the defensive measures. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if there are any mistakes that you spotted regarding the information or the type of way that I'm trying to teach, I would really appreciate it if you put it in the comments. Thanks for watching this video and hope you enjoyed.